Alrighty, how's it going, guys? Hank here, back at it again with another short video on the Review and Preview Sports YouTube channel. And folks, as always, I'd like to give you guys a friendly neighborhood reminder. Please don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Review and Preview Sports. And of course, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Give us a like, give us a comment, let us know your thoughts. We want to hear from you guys. And so, breaking news, the Houston Astros have won the 2022 World Series. And I'm going to give you guys my takeaways with regards to that World Series dating back to Game 3, because that was the last episode that I had recorded hitting for the cycle. And at that point, the Phillies were absolutely dominating in that game, a game in which they had won 7-0. And, it looked like the Philadelphia Phillies were going to somehow pull off the upset and win the World Series for just the third time in their franchise's history. But that did not happen. And if you recall from that episode, I was talking with John Check and Mike Hewitt, and I had said that Game 4 was going to be the big swing game in that series, in that if the Phillies won that game, then the chances for them to win the World Series were better. But the Astros had what was his name? It was Christian Javier who started that game. And that was a game that ended up resulting in baseball history. The Astros ended up with the first combined no-hitter ever in World Series history, but only the second no-hitter in World Series history, with the other one, of course, being Don Larson's perfect game in 56. And, credit to the Astros. They knew that the Phillies were a team that, pretty much relied on the home run and had a lot of big boppers, but Christian Javier and the rest of the Astros bullpen absolutely stymied the Phillies. And it also helped that the Astros were able to get to Aaron Nola in the sixth inning with those 5 runs. And, once the Astros tied it, I think that was when you realized, hey, this was a deeper team than Philadelphia. And the Astros pretty much had a better shot at winning the World Series from there on in, because in Game 5, you had Justin Verlander, who was trying to get his own monkey off his back and win his first postseason game since ever, or not postseason game, sorry, his first World Series game ever. He had been 0-6 up until that point, despite having been a part of the 2017 team. And he went 5 innings and only gave up 1 run. That was a Kyle Schwarber home run. And that was pretty much all the Astros needed. That was pretty much what the Astros needed from them to win. And in that game, of course, the other big part that helped was Jeremy Pena hitting that clutch home run. And I'll talk a little bit more about Jeremy Pena a little bit later, but that solo home run gave them the lead in the fourth inning. And the Astros never really looked back. Their bullpen pretty much was almost lights out, other than Gene Segura hitting that RBI single. And in the ninth inning, they did have a bit of a scare when JT Realmuto hit that fly ball, but Chas McCormick made that big catch to preserve the lead and give the Astros the 1-game lead with 2 shots at winning the title going back home to Houston. And then lastly, you go to Game 6, and, it was Framber Valdez against Zach Wheeler. And Zach Wheeler pitched about as well as he could, although the controversial moment happened in the 6th inning with the Phillies up 1-0, another Schwarber home run. Rob Thompson removes him after only 70 pitches. But I think the real turning point of this game wasn't so much the Yordan Alvarez moonshot into dead center. I think the big turning point was probably when Wheeler hit Maldonado with the pitch. Now, you can argue that Maldonado probably leaned into that all you want, but at the end of the day, it was a base runner for Houston, and then it led to the single that, led to the Alvarez home run. And I think if that hit by pitch doesn't happen before the Pena single, then Wheeler probably still would have been facing Yordan Alvarez, but instead they go to Alvarado, and Alvarado promptly gives up that home run. And that was essentially the game right there, and more or less the series, because other than Game 1, the Astros bullpen was lights out. And, again, as much as the Phillies did their best and, they had a good underdog story, I think you also have to give credit to the Astros where credit is due, because they were hands down the best team in baseball all year long. I don't really want to get into any cheating allegations and any other scandalous stuff from days past. They won that series. It was well earned, well deserved, and I couldn't think of a more deserving manager to win his first World Series after so many failed attempts than Dusty Baker. He is a manager who is so well respected in all circles of baseball. And, it's nice to see him finally get that monkey off his back. And I think, not to mention, the other thing that it definitely ensures is he will be going into the Hall of Fame when it is all said and done. And, other guys that I'm happy for on the Houston Astros, I would say Trey Mancini, a guy who missed a couple years ago because he was battling cancer. He's on the Orioles, an Orioles team that actually improved this year, but then goes to Houston, proceeds to win a World Series ring. And then, of course, there is Jeremy Pena, who absolutely was a star this postseason. And let me read off his batting average and why he ended up getting the MVP for the World Series. And he pretty much got 5 hits in 25 at bats, a home run, one that was really clutch, and that equates to a 400 batting average. And it's amazing that he was able to star in the postseason, especially considering he replaced a really good shortstop that left in the year before in Carlos Correa. But that just goes to show you the Astros are a team that is really good at building up a minor league system, developing talent. And, as far as they have some of the same staff members and as far as they're still following the times, the Astros are going to continue to be World Series contenders for many years to come, like it or not. And as for the Phillies, well, we'll see what happens. They'll probably have a good shot competing in the NL East this year, but I don't know if are a team that's necessarily built to win in the long run, because they went out and got a lot of stars and good hitters, but this is also a team that has Dave Dombrowski as his general manager. And if you know his history from when he was the GM for the Tigers and the Boston Red Sox, every team he leaves ends up being in a position where they're going to need to rebuild. So who knows? That very well could have been Bryce Harper's best shot at winning the World Series. But again, we shall see what happens. Next year will be a very interesting baseball season, and I cannot wait to see how it plays out. And that's really all I have for today to discuss the World Series winning Houston Astros. And folks, please don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Review and Preview Sports. And of course, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe to our YouTube channel, and let us know your thoughts. Do you think the Astros were the best team in baseball? Do you think the Phillies will have a shot at competing in years past? Do you think the Astros are going to be able to sustain their dominance for many years to come, or any other questions or opinions you might have? Everything is welcome. We would love to interact with you guys on social media. But until next time, I'm Hank and Dicker, and I will see you guys later.